believe this or not, it'll be up to you. The next morning I woke up, not even aware that the pain had gone. And you think whatever you want to think. You buy anything you want to buy and you get what you pay for. But I'm telling you today that I walked around in the house and the pain wasn't in there, so I didn't even notice it for a while. And then later on in the day I said, no, my knee ain't been hurting all day. And I first tested it out because I didn't believe it. I said, for long I said, thank you, Jesus. And then I started to feel guilty. A little bit stupid. After all the preaching I do, and the hollering and yelling, jumping up and down, telling you you ought to believe, you ought to follow, you ought to serve, you ought to pray, you ought to give it over to the Lord. And after a guilt, shame had come from reward, turned into a lesson. And that lesson, further in my life, as I began to think for the next several days without me, man, there's a lot more pain in my life than just my knee. There's a lot more things I have trouble with. We get so mad about pain and trouble, these type of things, but you know what? We always, first thing we want to do is, where's that blame go? And I thought, first of all, one of the biggest things is my memory's terrible. A lot of times, like the Social Security thing this morning, where I just made up one and went on about my business, well, at 35, I couldn't remember what I did at 18. But it would have been my fault. A lot of times there will be things that have worked into a problem in my life, and I sure want to blame somebody, but if my memory could serve me correctly, I probably started the thing in the first place. And it's just now caught up. As we talked this morning, how that little decisions or big decisions in a certain time can surely affect us profoundly later in life. And this is one thing we find. A lot of times we want to point the finger at somebody or to God or to anybody but us, but a lot of times we don't remember when we started making this mess we sometimes found ourselves in. And another thing is, we know a lot of times God brings pain to us because we just read it. This psalm is new. This psalmist, he claimed it. And he wrote it in the Bible, and God allowed it to be here. And if it wasn't here, it wouldn't be true. He said in verse 9 that he holds our soul. Verse 10, it said that God had proved us and had tried us and had brought us into this net and laid affliction upon us and even caused men to ride over us. He said, I know who done it. I know who put me in this place. I know who gave the ability to these people to mistreat me and to put me in the fire and put me through water and to ride over me. God did it. So God steps right out and admits what he does. That's right. You can point your finger at God today. But I can tell you, every time God puts us in one of these places, we need to be there. We need to be there. One of the roughest times in my life most trying time in my life. It didn't come with pain in the knee. It come when I had a whole bunch of money. I hadn't always been poor. At one point in time, I was a very wealthy 20-year-old. Very wealthy. Didn't even know I was wealthy. Didn't even know how to respect money. It just came. It was so easy. I don't even know how it happened. Not all of it. But just following my daddy's footsteps, I ended up with Daddy trying to help me and trying to provide for me, lead me into those good places, as any father would do. I had ended up being having 8 trucks, 9 drivers, and each one of those trucks, and Nancy can plainly tell you, can bring you anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 per week. Now you do the math on that. And in that, it looks like a lot of money, but a lot of that goes other places. But it's yours first. So just imagine how much money I can have in an account if I didn't pay my bills in a short amount of time. I've done things just like I was supposed to for 3 years and make money. But then that money, what I thought was my blessing, brought me more trouble than I've ever had in my life. Still to this day. We think money is our reward. When he says wealthy place to the psalmist, I guarantee you he wasn't talking about money. I guarantee you. The worst place I ever been in, I had money to do anything I wanted to do. And I had companies where I had escrow accounts with it. And at any time, I could call any one of those 5 companies and get $1,000. Put it and do anything I wanted. That was just extra. But it allowed me to buy my way into trouble. And ever since then, I've been broke. But I ain't been in trouble. And you think sometimes, well, why does God put me through these financial? Well, it's really not God so much trying to punish me, but trying to keep me out of trouble until I am well strong enough to handle money. And my wife, I'm sure, probably says, man, I wish he'd hurry up and get where he can handle money. That's the truth. Do what you want to with it. Trouble's not always bad. It has brought me to a place where I was able to be in a church, know God, and have a wife, kids. And all I had to trade was something that was in my bank account and something that made me happy. For someone named Jesus. I want to tell you this. My knee, which was a problem, led me to a doctor, which led me to calling on the Lord, which led me to greater knowledge of Him, which led me to greater faith in Him, which tonight led me to a sermon. Give it to every many people's in here. Pain's not that bad. Every head bowed, every eye